God, I really hope I can edit this down into a 5-minute segment for you guys.
Who will save me?
Burning, literally on fire. The current wildfires in California will forever alter the places that we go, the places that we've been, and the places that we will go to. Instead of a 10-year catastrophe where we have a fire every 10 years, and then a flood every 10 years, and then a major landslide every 10 years affecting not only the natural landscape, but the planned and built and constructed landscape, now this cycle seems to literally be coming year after year after year. It was 120 degrees in Woodland Hills. It was the hottest recorded temperature in the history of the state of California. I'm not one to jump on any type of bandwagon, left or right. I'm not somebody who's going to claim that global warming is solely a man-made issue, but you cannot deny the fact that things are changing. When I go out into this great nation of ours and I travel these back roads and I end up in small towns, the conversation is a common one, and that is, I have not seen weather like this since I can remember. I do not remember a summer like this since I can remember. The drought periods seem to be longer. These are a common thread in conversations throughout the country, and despite what the left and the right wants you to think, the truth of the matter is things are changing. And it is our responsibility as people to preserve, protect, and propagate the thing that gives us life, and that is the earth. We as humans have this innate desire to live where we technically shouldn't be living. We've been alive in an era where we have the technological gadgetry to allow us to live almost anywhere. Am I a deconstructionist in the sense that I think we should go back to living in caves and migrating to weather that's suitable for us if we didn't have the ability to wear clothes? No, not at all. With every step forward that we take in every realm of our modern culture, we keep looking over our shoulder at the ways from the past. We think about all of those things that have kind of been pushed away, and we're looking back at those things now and realizing there are a lot of answers. We could talk about all of these ancient cultures that thrived for century upon century and the things that they did in those cultural practices to keep them alive against all odds. We could talk about that for days. What I want to talk about is the immediate solution, something that we can do in the next 5 years that would almost guarantee that we would be able to prevent a wildfire or wildfires on the scale that we've seen over the past 5 years in California. In 2018 in California, the estimated wildfire damages cost was $400 billion total. Think about that. $400 billion. That was the entirety of the economic losses experienced by California. What they're saying is in 2017, almost 3 times Jeff Bezos' total net worth is what the damages were, what was lost. In 2017, it was $400 billion. Now, just in November of 2018, the losses equaled $12 billion from wildfire. Call me crazy, spending $12 billion just for the damages in November, right? It seems to me, and I'm sure a lot of you know this or feel this way already, we spend more to repair the damage than it would cost to prevent the damage. And who foots that bill? The taxpayers foot the bill. The taxpayers foot the bill for that. Those millions of dollars are coming out of your pocket. That's money that you put in that could have gone to other resources. To think about how much money is squandered. Let's get down to the crux of it here. We take 1,000 people. We pay each of these people $85,000 a year to do this job. That includes their medical is going to be covered, food and obviously lodging and transportation is all covered. If they need any type of specialized training, any other type of specialized education, we cover and comp that. If they've already have that educational training, we offers to pay off any and all student loan debt and associated debts with receiving that education and that degree. The sole job of these people is to literally go through the forests and clear them out. People will be educated and well versed and knowledgeable on every aspect of agricultural preservation. They'll be well versed in meteorology. They'll know about understanding botany. They'll understand basic engineering principles for land erosion and the way topography and geology interact and play a part in environmental situations. You may be saying, oh my God, 85 grand a year, 1,000 people, that's $85 million a year. That is so much money. Remember I mentioned the $12 billion that California spent basically in November of 2018 for just the November wildfire damage? It would take 141 years of spending $85 million a year to equal $12 billion. 141 years. So in effect, we could hire 3,000 people a year. We could hire 5,000 people a year and still be well under budget. We could develop this program much like the Works Progress Association did during the Great Depression. And what would happen is it would literally be just a short-term contract. It would be 5, 10, maybe 15 years. And it would be maybe 10,000 people. And their sole job for that 15 years to go throughout the country, literally cleaning house. We would go to these hot spots that keep getting reoccurring issues with wildfires. That's the plan. We take the methods and practices of the Native Americans, the ancient yet tried and true practices of those that came before us. Our elders, we take the practices of Native Americans, we take the practices of the people who literally lived and thrived and required of the land to sustain, to live. Rituals and actions that they literally used for centuries upon centuries that kept them safe, that worked. And we take our modern know-how and our decades and decades and decades of experience and our ability to take information and process it, extrapolate it out so that it becomes a working and tenable formula. We take both of those houses of knowledge and we combine them. And we combine them to make it so much bigger, better, and stronger. And we implement that moving forward for the next 15 years. And I guarantee you, once we combine these two elements and we move forward and progress, we're creating an entire generation that's not only going to be able to thrive and prosper, creating a whole nother era of people that have a deeper set of knowledge that's going to propel our nation forward and make us even more prosperous. We could set the pace for the world. We could create a program that is beneficial and that could eventually circumvent the globe. You know, I mean, we came out of World War II and we set the precedent for engineering. We set the precedent for auto manufacturing. We set the precedent for technology. We're still way, way, way ahead of the game. And in order for us to keep that edge, in order for us to still be an innovator, and in order for us to still have world value, we need to find a new foothold. And that foothold is restoring the environment for the benefit of our global community, but more importantly right now, for the benefit of our national community. I don't care whether you live in New York City in a fucking penthouse apartment or whether you live in a fucking cave somewhere in the Ozarks. The fact of the matter is, the earth is what keeps you alive. If you have any questions, if you have any things you'd like to point out, if you want me to elaborate in another video on this topic or any of the other kind of weird side topics that I approached, please leave me a comment. Feel free to message me on Instagram. And that's it for right now. Thanks.